Hi everyone, in today's video I'm gonna share my tips and tricks on passing a driving test. And I had my test a week ago, exactly a week ago, and I passed. So in today's video I'm gonna tell you what not to do on a driving test, so how not to fail your driving test. You obviously want to pass at your first attempt because you probably don't want to go back to DMV. It was a nightmare. Like, it was really bad. I spent like around 5 hours at the DMV. Even though I had an appointment, you still have to wait, and there's a lot of people and a lot of people are late. So prepare yourself that you're gonna probably spend at least 3 hours at the DMV. So when you get your permit, you get a note like that, and basically they let you know what you need to bring. And this is very important because if you don't have one of these documents, then you're not gonna be able to take your driving test. So you're gonna probably still wait like 2 hours to get to the window, and then they will tell you like, I'm sorry, but you can't take your driving test today. So make sure you have all these documents: valid instruction permit, current vehicle registration card, current and valid insurance card, licensed driver with a valid driver's license. They don't really check that, but they basically see if you are with someone or if you're alone. But they didn't check my husband's ID, so yeah, doesn't matter. They probably just assume that he has driver's license. And if you are under 18, you need to bring your original certificate of driver's training completion. I didn't have to because I'm 25, so yeah, I only brought these first three documents basically, and of course a driver, a licensed driver. So first things first, they tell you to spend at least 50 hours practicing for your driving test. So you have to spend at least 50 hours driving around with a licensed driver, and make sure to do it because they can tell if you drove, I don't know, like 30 hours or if you drove 50-60 hours. Because I've noticed, like, I was so sure that I'm gonna just, learn in a day and then I'm just gonna be driving smoothly and everything will be perfect. But it took me around, I would say even over a month to learn how to drive smoothly, basically to the point where I was able to feel confident, and I didn't really need the licensed driver next to me, sitting next to me in a car. So at the beginning, like, you feel you can do it, but you still make small mistakes. And when you have a driver on the passenger seat who can give you feedback, who can tell you like, don't do this, do that, it's very useful. And by making mistakes, you learn. It's actually very good to make mistakes and make sure to drive a lot so you will make these mistakes and then you will be corrected, because it's a lot easier to pass driving tests when you already know what to look out for. So yeah, these are like the basics. It still takes like 2 months to get an appointment with a DMV. So I actually signed up for like the earliest appointment available, and it was still within 2 months. So for me, luckily I was able to pass my driving test, but I did practice a lot. And I definitely see that it helped me a lot too. So what are the common mistakes people usually do on driving tests? Obviously they come unprepared. So you can actually check online a driving route for your DMV, put it in a Google, and you will see the exact route on the Google Maps. So it's pretty easy to prepare because you can go and practice this route at least like 3-6 times, and you're gonna feel a lot more comfortable. You will see what is the speed limit, where are the stop signs, and you can just practice, and it makes you feel a lot more comfortable, because I actually went to the DMV not really in my area, like I've never been there, so it was kind of foreign to me, you know. And there were different signs I had to look out for, and practicing really helped me. So make sure to Google the route. You can even see actually videos on YouTube with like instructors sitting next to the person and giving directions, so you can actually feel like you are there. And now I'm gonna talk to you about mistakes which I made and which are also very common on a driving test. Watch out for a stop sign. People usually know to stop before the limit line, but a lot of times there is just a stop sign without a limit line, and sometimes there is a limit line and then there's another road here, so there is a limit line and then you go here and there is a stop sign, and sometimes people miss it. That was actually at my DMV. It was a kind of weird street which you never see anywhere else, but there was a limit line here and there was another road here, and then there was like a big road here. So I stopped before the limit line and then I start turning right, and there was another stop sign, and I did stop there because I had to yield to the traffic. But they check if you actually stopped before the stop sign. If you stop kind of in the line of the stop sign, they will tell you you missed it. So that was my mistake. I did stop before joining the traffic because obviously you have to stop and you have to see if there aren't any cars coming. So I did stop, but they didn't like that I stopped basically on a line where the stop sign was. It has to be like before, and then you can creep out to see, but yeah, they look for it. Another thing, make sure when you're changing lanes, make sure to really show the instructor they are checking your blind spot, because I did check my blind spot every time, but he still didn't really like that I wasn't moving my body to like really see everything. It's not really a mistake, but you know, if you want to impress your driving instructor, then just, you know, make sure you're checking this blind spot really well. And of course they will check if you're driving smoothly, if you're driving in your lane, if you're not drifting to the right or to the left, because these are also common mistakes which are pretty common for people who just started driving and they look like straight in front of the car instead of driving and looking ahead. It's actually very easy to fix it. Basically, if you want to drive straight, you have to look ahead. You have to look like, I would say, I don't know, maybe 3 cars ahead. So don't look like, you know, on your mask of the car, you know, just don't look there, just look ahead, not in front of your car. That just helps to straighten the car out. And also watch out when there are usually, like, at least in my area, there are 2 left turn lanes. You need to make sure you're driving in your lane when you're turning, because if you're gonna drift a little bit to the left or to the right, it's a mistake. So make sure you practice these turns and you're driving in your lane, because they won't like it. And also speeding while turning, yeah, make sure you practice that too, because I got some points for that. I was driving too fast on the turn. Yeah, so the driving test is pretty easy. Basically just drive, and then they ask you to park, and they ask you to put your emergency brake on. It's very important. A lot of people don't do it, but they will ask you, like, what do you need to do after you park your car? Put the emergency brake on. And then they will ask you how far you are from the curb, and they will ask you how, like, within how many inches you should be within next to the curb, and it's actually from 9 to 18 inches. And they will ask you need to know exactly, and I said within 3 feet, and he didn't like my answer. He said that I need to tell him how many inches I need to be from the curb. So he told me 18 inches, and you need to remember to the rest of your life. So I did remember that. I still remember because they actually asked me that at the end of the test. They asked me, like, okay, so how far you have to be from the curb? I was like, 18 inches. And yeah, so make sure you know all the numbers and everything, because they will ask you for that too. I mean, this depends on the instructor, but you know, it's easy to remember, you know, 18 inches. Yeah, they will ask you to back your car, and obviously you can't yet use the camera. You have to still look through the rear window, and he will tell you probably, but they usually don't check that. But my instructor actually asked me to go to the street a little bit, then turn to the curb, but don't hit the curb. It's very important. Don't hit the curb while you're backing your car, because that's obviously a mistake. Yeah, another thing a lot of people do. So when you're turning right and when there is a green light, people sometimes still stop before turning, and that's a mistake. If you have a green light, don't stop. If you see pedestrians, they don't have the right of way, so you should go, because if you're gonna stop, you will let them go. It's a mistake. If you have a red light and you're turning right, make sure there is no pedestrians, stop before the limit line, and if there is no one there, creep out, and if there is no cars, then you can go, but make sure there's no cars, because you have to make instructor feel safe. And if you are like, okay, there is a car, but it's kind of far, you know, I'm just gonna go, and the car is actually going pretty fast, you can't make your instructor feel unsafe, because obviously you're gonna get points for that. So make sure there's no cars, and then you can go. But yeah, check twice at least. And by the way, if you're stopping before the limit line, wait 3 seconds. Yeah, don't be like, okay, stop, okay, I can go. You know, wait 3 seconds, look left, look right, look left again, and then go. And yeah. So yeah, I actually didn't make that many mistakes. That's why I passed. But they were also checking my parking. So make sure you're parking in the middle of your spot, because he actually checked at the end at the DMV if I was like in the middle, or if I was like more to the right or to the left. But I was in the middle because I actually corrected my parking. I passed, and I'm so glad and so relieved that I don't have to go back to DMV anytime soon. I hope you will pass. Prepare yourself, practice the driving route, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna be fine. So yeah, also make sure to buckle up before you go, and make sure the driving instructor is also buckled up, because sometimes they're trying to check if you know the basic stuff. So yeah, also make sure, and signal every time, like signal every single time you're turning, because yeah, you also get points for that. And for speeding, you know, make sure you drive within like 10 miles per hour within your speed limit. So I don't know, if the speed limit is 50, don't drive 30, because obviously you're gonna get points for that. Or don't drive 70. If you drive 55 or 45 when the speed limit is 50, that's okay. Hope this video helped you a little bit. If you have any questions, then please leave them down below in the comment section, and yeah, I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye bye.